From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday assured the public that the government is acting with urgency to ensure the safety and repatriation of Filipinos in Israel and Iran following the escalation of conflict in the Middle East. In a recorded message, the president said, "The government has raised Alert Level 3 in both countries, activating the Voluntary Repatriation Program." President Marcos said Department of Migrant Workers or DMW Secretary Leo Magpayo is in Amman, Jordan, to receive the first batch of 26 repatriates from Israel at the King Hussein Crossing. The government is processing over 200 repatriation requests, President Marcos said, and is working quickly to facilitate their return. While some Filipinos have opted to stay and continue working, the president also gave an update on the Filipino caregiver injured in earlier hostilities who remains hospitalized. In Iran, the Philippine Embassy is preparing to bring home an initial batch of 8 Filipinos. Upon arrival in the Philippines, returning OFWs will receive comprehensive assistance, including 150,000 pesos in financial aid, temporary accommodation, transportation, and livelihood support. The chief executive urged Filipinos in affected areas to remain in close contact with Philippine embassies and consulates. President Marcos assured the public that the government remains on full alert to protect Filipino lives abroad. The Philippine president's statement comes as the conflict between Israel and Iran intensifies after the United States launched airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites, prompting strong retaliation threats from Tehran. The United States airstrikes came as the Israel-Iran conflict entered its second week of back-and-forth attacks.
We have raised Alert Level 3 in Iran and Israel. I have directed all concerned government agencies to take the necessary steps to ensure the safe, timely, and orderly return of our Filipino workers who wish to avail of the Voluntary Repatriation Program. Secretary Hans Kakdak is in Amman, Jordan, and is scheduled to receive the first batch of 26 repatriates from Israel at the King Hussein Crossing. In Israel, we have already provided food packs and financial help to our kababayans. Many are staying in our migrant workers' office hostel with more space ready should it be needed. We are processing over 200 requests for repatriation, and we are moving quickly to bring them home, while others have opted to remain at work. We continue to monitor our OFW caregiver who remains in hospital, stable but still on oxygen support and a ventilator. We are in touch with her family and are making sure she gets the care that she needs. In Iran, our embassy is preparing for the repatriation of an initial batch of 8 Filipinos in the coming days. Upon arrival in the Philippines, they will receive immediate support from the government, including 150,000 pesos in immediate assistance, some accommodation, transport, and livelihood support with training vouchers to help them recover and to start again. And for those who choose to stay home for good, we will be there to help with skills training, job matching, startup capital, and support to begin a small business or find new opportunities. I urge our fellow Filipinos to coordinate with our embassies in Tel Aviv and in Tehran. Please follow their guidance, inform them of your situation, and do not hesitate to ask for assistance. Your government continues to act and is ready to serve to protect your safety and well-being. Nothing is more important than the safety of every Filipino.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang on Monday said Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is set to meet with his economic team to assess the potential impact of the escalating Middle East conflict, particularly on fuel prices. In a press briefing, PAL's press officer Claire Castro said the meeting aims to review contingency measures amid growing concerns over a possible energy crisis as tensions in the oil-rich region threaten global supply chains. The statement comes amid rising fears over global oil market disruptions as the conflict between Israel and Iran intensifies. The tension escalated after the United States launched airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites, prompting strong retaliation threats from Tehran. The Middle East remains a vital source of the Philippines' oil imports, making any conflict in the region a potential threat to domestic fuel supply and transport costs.
Kakaroon to ng domino effect. Kasi kahit sabihin natin na magkakaroon ng fuel subsidy ang mga drivers natin para sa mga commuters, hindi maiiwasan na iindahin din po ito ng mga sa logistics, sa trading. So, yun po ang ipinagdarasan natin na maiwasan po natin at mabigyan ng magandang solusyon para po hindi masyadong mabigat ang daranasin ng mga kababayan po natin dahil dito sa tensyon na nangyayari sa Israel at Iran.
Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Malacañang moved to dispel growing public anxiety over the possibility of a global war, assuring Filipinos that the government is fully prepared to respond to any eventuality amid rising tensions in the Middle East. In a Palace Press briefing, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has instructed all relevant agencies to prioritize the protection and welfare of overseas Filipinos, especially those in high-risk areas.
Una-una, ang gustong iparating ng Pangulo, handa po tayo sa anumang mangyayari at lahat po ng pangangailangan ng taong bayan ay tutugunan po ng pamahalaan. At wag po sila mag-alala dahil ang gobyerno po ngayon ay nagtatrabaho para sa ating lahat.
Following a surge of fears online over the potential outbreak of World War III as the conflict between Israel and Iran continues to intensify. The situation escalated further over the weekend after the United States launched airstrikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. U.S. President Donald Trump has warned of more attacks unless Iran chooses peace, while Tehran vowed to defend itself and accused Washington of military aggression. In light of these developments, the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, reiterated its call for calm and diplomacy. Castro echoed this message, saying the president supports efforts to avoid war and maintain peace across the region.
Ramdam po ng Pangulo, ramdam po ng gobyerno ang alalahanin ng mga leaders ng iba't ibang bansa dahil sa umiinit at tensyon sa rehiyon. Ang panawagan din po ng Pangulo ay magkaroon po ng mapayapang pag-uusap at diplomasya para po maibsan ang lumalalang hindi pagkakasundo. Kailangan din po manindigan para sa pandaigdigang kapayapaan para maging matatag po ang global community o pandaigdigang komunidad. Yan po ang mensahe ng Pangulo.
Over 2.2 million Filipinos in the Middle East with large populations in Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Bahrain. Around 30,000 Filipinos live in Israel, mainly working in caregiving and domestic services. In Iran, around 1,180 Filipinos reside, most of whom are married to locals. Due to the escalating conflict, the Philippines earlier raised Alert Level 3 in both Israel and Iran, encouraging voluntary repatriation and extra precaution. Government agencies are actively providing assistance to those who wish to return home.
Dateline Malacañang.
Also on Monday, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. acknowledged steady progress in the government's infrastructure rehabilitation efforts in Marawi City, noting that key facilities including schools, a hospital, and a port are nearing completion years after the 2017 siege. During his visit to several project sites, the president emphasized the importance of sustained recovery work to restore essential public services to residents affected by the conflict. Among the sites inspected were the temporary learning spaces, or TLS, in the village of Sagonsongan, the Marawi City Dansalan Integrated School, the Marawi General Hospital, and the Marawi Port. At the TLS, President Marcos led the distribution of Starlink internet kits to several schools and school supplies to students. He described the provision of learning support as a top priority. The newly constructed school buildings, President Marcos said, are nearly ready for use and may accommodate up to 10,000 learners. The chief executive also inspected the Marawi General Hospital, a 100-bed primary care facility that he said should be operational by August this year in time for his planned return for the inauguration. President Marcos added that the hospital has sufficient power but still requires a standby generator to ensure uninterrupted operation during power outage. At the Marawi port, the president highlighted its strategic role in connecting 18 municipalities around Lake Lanao and announced plans to construct additional ports to improve regional connectivity. The Philippine president also reported that issues regarding water supply are being resolved through coordination with the Department of National Defense, or DND, which controls part of the system's infrastructure. While acknowledging there is still more work to be done, President Marcos expressed tempered satisfaction with the progress achieved. The Marawi Rehabilitation Project remains one of the most complex post-conflict reconstruction efforts in the Philippines, aimed at rebuilding homes, institutions, and essential services in the wake of the 5-month battle in 2017 between government forces and extremist groups.
Nandito ako, pinuntahan ko yung Marawi para tignan yung ginagawa nating rehabilitation para sa ng mga nasira na actually nasira lahat. Kaya inuna namin, pinuntahan natin yung mga eskwelahan kung nasan yung mga bata ngayon. Which is the temporary lang yun, yung una natin pinuntahan, temporary lang yun. Yung pangalawang pinuntahan natin, yun ang bago. That will be able to house up to 9,000, almost 10,000 students doon sa mga bagong building. Malapit na matapos, kaunti na lang, maglalagay na lang ng perimeter fence, pwede na dalhin yung mga bata doon. And then the next facility that we want to inspect was the Marawi City Hospital. And it is a 100-bed hospital, primary care. And we are giving the contractors and all of the government agencies a deadline of August na mabuksan na yung hospital para makapag-serbisyo na sa taong bayan. Dito naman sa port, we know how important the port is to the surrounding 18 municipalities that are around Lake Lanao. And so this is the first of several ports that we will put. Dahil kagaya ng pagka-explain nga sa atin, pagka ito lang, walang connectivity, hindi magagamit dahil walang pupuntahan yung barko. So we will put others around the lake para maganda yung connectivity natin. So I'm happy to see that we are at least making some progress after such a long time. We have we have figured out the water supply already, which we are working out in partnership with the DND kasi yung part ng water supply system ay nasa kampo. Department of Defense. Kaya pinagsama-sama na natin, pinag-usap-usap na natin, tapos na yung mga documentation, pwede nang simulan ang paglagay ng gamit, and the water supply will also be there. Tinignan din natin ang electrical supply na both for the school and for the hospital lalo. Siyempre, yun ang pinaka-importante. Ang hospital, mukhang naman they have sufficient power, but naghahanap sila ng standby generator kasi ang hospital talagang kailangan, kahit may brownout, kailangan patakbuhin yung mga makina. So, requirement yan ng DOH na bawat ospital ay may standby generator. And so these are the main infrastructure developments that we have initiated here in Marawi. Marami pa tayong gagawin, and we will be able to show the progress that we have been making in putting Marawi back together.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Still on Monday, Malacañang is saddened on Vice President Sara Duterte's pronouncement questioning why the San Juanico Bridge has been made into a tourist spot. In a palace press briefing, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro emphasized that the said bridge has a total length of 2.16 kilometers and was built in 1973. Castro said the bridge symbolizes beauty and engineering capabilities of the country. The palace official likened San Juanico to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, California, which is 2.7 kilometers long, as well as the world's smallest international bridge, the El Marco Bridge, which is only 6 meters long. According to Undersecretary Castro, it is sad that while President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is focused on promoting Philippine tourism, a fellow Filipino is trying to put this down.
Tandaan mo natin, ang San Juanico Bridge, ito po ay simbolo ng kagandahan at engineering capabilities nung panahon, nung 1973. Siguro karamihan sa inyo, karamihan sa atin, hindi pa pinapanganak. Pero hanggang ngayon, nakatatag pa rin, nandiyan pa rin, ang San Juanico Bridge ay kailangan lamang ang rehabilitation. At tandaan po natin, hindi po sa sukat o haba or iksi o haba ng tulay, masasabi mo na ang isang tulay ay dapat gawing tourist spot. Tandaan natin, ang San Juanico Bridge ay mayroong 2.16 kilometers na haba. Ang Golden Gate ay mayroong 2.7 kilometers. Pero ang Golden Gate sa San Francisco ay tourist spot. At pati yung El Marco Bridge na pinakamaiksing tulay na may sukat na 6 meters ay tinatawag ding tourist spot. Ang masakit lang, kapwa nating Pinoy, ibinabagsak ang turismo ng bayan, inaangat ang turismo ng ibang bansa. Samantalang ang Pangulo kagagaling lamang sa Japan para palakasin ang turismo ng ating bansa.
That was Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Philippines Department of Agriculture on Monday vowed to monitor the prices of food and agricultural commodities amid the Israel-Iran conflict. In an ambush interview, DA Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. said President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is closely watching this. Chu Laurel refrained from giving projections on possible price adjustments on agricultural commodities, noting that the global situation remains very fluid. He, however, noted that price hikes may primarily be felt on imported goods if unscrupulous traders take advantage of the situation. The DA secretary also cited the possible impact of rising fuel costs on the delivery of agricultural products. For rice prices, he said, the DA may put on hold the plan to lower the maximum suggested retail price or MSRP for 5% broken imported rice from 45 pesos per kilogram to 43 pesos per kilogram on July 1st for at least another month or more. The DA earlier said the move would be in place while awaiting a more stabilized situation. To date, the prevailing prices of imported premium and well-milled rice in Metro Manila are 45 pesos per kilogram and 43 pesos per kilogram for imported regular milled rice. The price range of premium imported rice, meanwhile, is pegged at 43 pesos to 50 pesos per kilogram. Imported well-milled rice from 38 to 48 pesos per kilogram, and imported regular milled rice from 35 pesos to 45 pesos per kilogram. Prices of premium local rice range from 44 pesos per kilogram to 60 pesos per kilogram. Local well-milled, 38 pesos per kilogram to 52 pesos per kilogram, and local regular milled rice at 30 pesos per kilogram to 45 pesos per kilogram, with prevailing prices set at 50 pesos per kilogram, 45 pesos per kilogram, and 40 pesos per kilogram respectively. The imposition of the MSRP for imported pork, however, is still being eyed in August. The DA has yet to finalize the actual amount of pork MSRP to help stabilize retail prices in local markets. According to the DA Bantay Presyo, as of June 21st, the prices of local pork ham remain high at 365 pesos per kilogram to 430 pesos per kilogram, while pork belly is pegged at 370 pesos to 490 pesos per kilogram. Frozen calcium, meanwhile, ranges from 240 pesos per kilogram to 270 pesos per kilogram, while frozen liempo is set at 290 pesos to 350 pesos per kilogram.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, professional seafarers will enjoy free train rides at the Light Rail Transit Line 2 or LRT2 and the Metro Rail Transit Line 3 or MRT3 on Wednesday in celebration of the Day of the Filipino Seafarer. In a statement on Monday, the Department of Transportation or DOTR in partnership with the Maritime Industry Authority or MARINA announced the Libreng Sakay or Free Ride initiative for Filipino mariners. The free rides are available at the LRT2 during the rush hour windows of 7 to 9 in the morning and 5 to 7 in the evening, while free rides are available at the MRT3 from 5:30 in the morning onwards at all stations. To avail of free rides, seafarers would need to present their Seafarer's Record Book or SRB, Seafarer's Identity Document or SID, or their Seafarer's Identification Booklet or SIB at LRT2 and MRT3 ticketing booths. Aside from providing free train rides, the DOTR and Marina will hold the 2025 Gawad Natatanging Mandaragat that seeks to recognize Filipino seafarers for performing exemplary tasks that enhance maritime safety and protection or have pioneered innovative solutions, technologies, or processes that lead to enhancement of safety in maritime operations and protection of the marine environment. The Marina and its partner manning agencies will also hold a job fair at the Rizal Park Hotel on Wednesday for jobs in the maritime sector.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.